Welcome to Hat Headlines for July. My name is Sophie Allport. Today we're going to be celebrating what you've been creating, answering all of your burning questions, and take a sneak peek at our Royal Ascot Trend Report. As always, we'll begin by taking a look at what you've been working on in our studio showcase. Our first piece is from Marge from Estonia, who's been exploring our wirework halo course technique. And it's a gorgeous navy halo. So I really loved how she has incorporated some beautiful floral embellishments for that kind of pop of color. She's got some movement with some added crinoline twists. And also the background of her piece, the piece that's connecting the outer halo and the base, is completely different to what we taught in the lesson. So I really love how Marge has taken this course and made it her own and created something truly unique. So the next piece that we're going to be looking at is from Stephanie Munro, who found inspiration in the interlaced design lesson. So Stephanie has brought this fabulous technique that we put together for you all in that lesson, and she's created a woven textural little pillbox and she's added it to a headband. So she's really turned something that, we kind of based it on a percher block, and she's created something completely different. I wonder if she used those pillbox techniques that we taught in another one of those lessons. So fantastic work there, Stephanie. I love the material that you've used, that pop of pink metallic. She's also added a fabulous quill there with a bit of metallic detail, and I can really see this going with a lot of very striking outfits. So incredible work there, Stephanie. Next, we're going to head to our studio Q&A with a question from Martina about water-based stiffener. So Martina asks, I would love to use CM water-based hat stiffener because it's non-toxic and it can be used indoors. I've tried on several different straws, but I found that they lost some of their luster and didn't have the same crispness I achieved with traditional stiffeners. Do you have any tips for using it successfully? So recently I discussed this in the latest live mentor session with Louise McDonald. We had a whole big chat about all things stiffeners. So if you are like Martina and you want to know more about stiffeners, please take a look at that whole lesson. But we've just got a little snippet here for you to see what we discussed specifically related to that water-based stiffener. When you're using it, it will dull it a little bit, but I find making sure you reapply steam and ironing it to get that beautiful polish, particularly for things like parasisal and I assume cineme. The addition of the steam back over it once the stiffener has set helps to get a little bit of that dullness out. I find with black it can become a bit matte. But with a bit of extra steam, it can get a little bit of sheen and remove a little bit of that dullness to it. So this piece here, you can see, was made using the stiffener, and this leaf is not wired, like there's a wired stem here, but this leaf was not wired, and you can see it's quite stiff and it does still have some sheen. So predominantly using the technique of using your iron and lots of pressure to help get a little bit of that sheen back in. But like Louise said, if you want that gloss, then you could use the shellac-based stiffener because it has that gloss. You may also be able to find some sort of gloss spray that works with Millinery. The only caveat I will say with that is using it on white. It'll be white initially, but eventually over time it will yellow. I don't know about you, Louise, but white is just something that I try not to dabble with unless it's leather, and then I know it's going to stay white. Angela Menz attended all 5 days of Royal Ascot, taking in all the remarkable hats and headpieces and fashionable frocks. We caught up with her to discover the key trends she spotted throughout the week. When we last spoke, Angela, you were preparing for 5 wonderful days at Royal Ascot. How did the experience compare with what you had imagined?
I think every year it just gets bigger and better, and I love it. And I sort of go to myself, I don't need to go all the time, I'll face it out. And I think I was there for half an hour and I was already thinking, how can I come back? And every day just got better. So love seeing all the fashion, love seeing the milliners and all the things that are going on around the track.
Well, it looked incredible, so I can totally understand why you were feeling that way. Speaking of standout fashion, what were the standout fashion and millinery trends that you noticed across the week?
Something that really stood out to me was the the saucer disc shaped millinery. So that kind of really on the angle with like sweeping beautiful brims and things. So I think that was something that really stood out to me. And I thought what was quite interesting about that was that it was worn really across all of the enclosures. So you could see it in, I did have a walk around to the different enclosures. So there are different enclosures have slightly different dress standards. So the royal enclosure being the most stringent enclosure, being that your millinery has to be of a certain size and everything, whereas the other enclosures, it's not quite so strict. But I could see that done in all of the enclosures. I could really see that and done in quite mass market millinery, bought on the high street through to the very beautiful bespoke, custom millinery pieces. So yeah, I mean, you can see the royals are wearing the look and wearing it very well. So that was something I think that was very prominent. It does lean into that quite traditional English millinery. But I think compared to other years that I've been, I really felt that that was a particularly strong, around the track this year.
It was such a treat to chat with Angela and hear her insights from this year's Royal Ascot. Please keep an eye out for the full interview, including some of Angela's predictions for the Spring Carnival. And just a note, the spindle is now available on YouTube, where you will find all of our previous interviews and millinery stories. As mentioned, the Louise McDonald Live Mentor replay is now available, featuring the sculpted cineme scribble, a new technique for creating lightweight, wide cineme trims with expressive movement and shape. Also coming in July, Louise McDonald's Buntle Trims Headpiece course. Louise shows you how to prepare and manipulate buntle straw and then hand shape it into a creative sculptural trim. Next month, Lauren Ritchie will be presenting our millinery photo shoot live session. Lauren will guide you through choosing models and your creative team, then managing the day with a detailed run sheet schedule. A fantastic resource that I'm very excited to see myself. And finally, congratulations to all the winners of the 2026 Millinery Australia Design Awards. The awards are a beautiful reflection of the talent and imagination within the Australian millinery community. If you haven't checked out all of the winners and entries over on the Millinery Australia website, I highly recommend taking a peek at all the creativity and attention to detail. Don't forget, you'll find links to everything we've mentioned today in the video description. Thanks so much for catching up with us today on Hat Headlines. We're so looking forward to seeing what you've been working on and sharing more from our community next month. Until next time, happy hatting.